So today I'm going to cover working memory, decision making, moral psychology, and I'll be including a special bonus discussing the associations between video game type and personality. I'll be discussing the personality psychology surrounding the character Jin Sakai and his decision to go against traditional codes. And then for a second special bonus, briefly cover a study done on personality projection on video game characters. First, we'll cover working memory. When you are playing, your working memory is continuously accessing your episodic memory, including images and movement sequences. When you have to remember a particular detail, you initially recite the information and elaborate on it to yourself in your head. But then, when you have to recall that detail in your working memory accesses the episodic memory and quickly reruns the phonological loop and elaboration. This would be the mental sequence which enables you to quickly produce the actions you need to successfully react to what is happening in the game. Next is decision making. Your decisions are influenced by the perceived outcomes, but the evaluation you make of the outcomes will depend on what you know and what your emotional temperament is. Once a particular action is chosen, the action will then be initiated, sustained, maintained, and terminated by motivation processes. Moral psychology. Moral decision-making will follow similar decision-making processes as general decision-making, but it specifically is influenced by how an individual behaves to negate shame and guilt in relation to the game world, and also their real-world circumstances. Video games provide a digital world to interact with, so the actions people take in video games can be affected by the individual's motivation for playing the video game and interacting with said game world. For example, a person may play a game to feel good, but more specifically to experience a feeling of positive stimulation and explorative learning, or to experience the simulated equivalent of belonging, accomplishment, etc. With that said, the nature of the morality a player exhibits necessarily will vary as much as motivations for playing the game varies, because behavior, as such, varies according to motivations. Some video game players play to express a desire that is difficult to meet without consequences in real life, such as a desire to destroy, while others play a game to engage critically and emotionally with the characters, or perhaps a bit of both at different times. These choice differences may be manifestations of varying value judgments. This action is good in this moment, this other action is good for another moment, which may be the result of each person's unique psychological needs as an individual's desires and moral conscience can be satiated through digital emulation of those things which would be satisfying in reality but are not as readily available. Another explicit example can be the satiation of the desire for accomplishment by achieving a goal within the digital world of the game, or satiation of the desire for autonomy by allowing the player to accrue resources which allow them to explore more dangerous in-game regions. We've arrived at our first special bonus: associations between video game type and personality. Do you want to speculate around what your personality is without taking a personality test? You can make inferences based on your choice of video game, because a study by Peaver, Johnson, and Gardner 2012 shows the following correlations between personality and video game type. People who play music, casual, and party games are more likely to be social, outgoing, and energetic. They have higher scores in extroversion. People who play MMORPG, role-playing games, action role-playing games, turn-based strategy games, and real-time strategy games are less likely to be social, outgoing, and energetic, with lower scores in extroversion. People who play sport, racing, flight simulation, and fighting games are more likely to be task and goal-oriented, higher scores in conscientiousness. And people who play action-adventure and platform games are more likely to be inquisitive and exploratory, higher scores in openness to experience. Additionally, Worth and Book 2015 uncovered some interesting correlations between behavior, play styles, and personality. 4 play styles were identified: aggressing, winning, creating, and helping. Aggressing negatively correlated with honesty, humility. Creating was negatively correlated with conscientiousness. Helping was positively correlated with agreeableness. Note that in their study they also accounted for psychopathic traits. Aggressing positively correlated with all psychopathic traits. Winning and creating correlated with 1 psychopathic trait each. There is, in other words, the potential for psychopathy when these play styles or playing behaviors are present. Finally, frequency in play correlated positively with aggressing, winning, and helping, but not creating. Now we're going to look at the personality psychology of the main character of Ghost of Tsushima, Jin Sakai. Jin is one of the samurai virtues, compassion. You can search Jin samurai virtue to check this. Jin Sakai acts in the interest of others by using his abilities to prevent deaths and other undesirable events. Perceiving himself as potentially the only person achieving the collectively shared goal of saving Tsushima, he does, however, kill many Mongolians, as well as anyone who may threaten his ability to defend Tsushima. This could be seen as immoral, but an argument can be made that doing otherwise would be against his conscience, and that was the wisest thing to do, since the best humans have for discerning right from wrong may be our conscience. This also clarifies the motivation behind his decision to adopt the un-samurai tactics taught by Yuna, and the use of poison darts in order to potentially save Tsushima from a Mongol invasion. His killing is done for its perceived benefits, but arguably in alignment with his conscience. If he does not kill who he does, in the manner he does, then a tragedy will ensue which he believes would be much worse. In this way, Jin Sakai is a pragmatist consequentialist, attempting to achieve the best possible outcome in the midst of a variety of undesirable options, preferring the lesser of the 2 undesirable realities continually, until a stable world is obtained again. And now for our second special bonus: do we project our personality onto our characters? Some individuals customize characters to look like them. So, if we ask those people to do a personality test for their character, does the test align with their own personality? No. It turns out that when people play, they engage in experiencing alternative versions of themselves. You now know some of the workings of the mind when it comes to video games, and specifically to Ghost of Tsushima. Hopefully, you found something useful here. If there are ideas you want me to explore, leave a comment and I'll cover it next time.